There is a knife that has been in continuous production since 1942. Over 80 years, same basic design, same 7-inch blade, same leather handle, same crossguard. Millions manufactured, issued to every Marine, used in every American conflict since World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan. Still standard issue today, not obsolete, not replaced, not improved meaningfully, because the original design was so fundamentally correct that 8 decades of technological advancement cannot beat it. This is the Ka-Bar, United States Marine Corps fighting knife. And in the Pacific theater of World War II, Japanese soldiers learned to fear this 12-ounce piece of steel more than rifles, more than grenades, more than artillery. Because the Ka-Bar meant something worse than being shot from distance. It meant close combat, night fighting, hand-to-hand, death up close, personal, brutal, inescapable. The knife became psychological weapon as much as physical tool. Symbol of Marine determination, promise of brutal end if you face them in darkness. This is its story, not just the design, but what it meant, what it did, what it still does. The Ka-Bar was not first military knife. Soldiers have carried blades for thousands of years, swords, daggers, bayonets. But most military knives were secondary weapons, backup tools, not primary fighting instruments. The Ka-Bar changed this, became weapon Marines relied on, trusted, preferred in certain situations over firearms. That transformation from tool to weapon to legend is what makes the Ka-Bar significant. Not just good knife, cultural icon, tactical necessity, psychological advantage. The design originated from field feedback. Early World War II, Marines in Pacific complained about issued knives. They were inadequate, too fragile, wrong blade shape, poor handles, broke under field use. Marines needed something better, something that could kill, could pry, could chop, could dig, could survive salt water and jungle and coral and abuse. The Navy Bureau of Ordnance solicited designs. Multiple companies submitted proposals. Union Cutlery Company, later renamed Ka-Bar, won the contract. Their design was selected in November 1942. Production started immediately. The specifications were precise. Blade length 7 inches, overall length 11.875 inches, weight 12 ounces approximately. Carbon steel blade. Later versions used stainless steel, but original was carbon. Easier to sharpen in field, held edge better, could be sharpened on rock if necessary. The blade shape was clip point, straight edge for most of length, then curved clip near tip. This created sharp point for stabbing, maintained cutting edge for slashing, optimal balance between penetration and cutting. The blade thickness was 0.165 inches, thick enough for strength, thin enough for sharpness. The steel extended through the handle. Full tang construction. This meant handle could not separate from blade. Single piece of steel. Handle scales were leather washers. Stacked leather discs compressed and shaped. This created grip that was comfortable, absorbed shock, did not slip when wet, did not conduct cold. Practical choice for combat knife. The crossguard was steel, oval shape, large enough to protect hand, not so large it caught on equipment. The pommel was steel, could be used for hammering, for breaking, for striking. Every component served multiple purposes. Nothing was decorative. Everything was functional. This utilitarian approach defined the knife. Not beautiful, not elegant, just effective, brutally effective. The sheath was leather initially. Later versions used various materials, plastic, kydex, nylon, but original was leather, with metal throat reinforcement, belt loop attachment, snap closure. The sheath could be worn multiple ways: belt, leg, shoulder. Marines configured it based on preference and mission. Flexibility was important. The knife needed to be accessible, fast, but secure, would not fall out during movement, would not rattle, would not reflect light. Tactical considerations drove every design choice. The cost was approximately $1943. Adjusted for inflation, roughly $50 in 2024 dollars. Cheap. Mass production made it affordable. Millions could be manufactured. Every Marine could be issued one. This universal distribution was important. The Ka-bar became standard, expected, part of Marine identity. Not special equipment for elite units, standard issue for everyone, private to general. Everyone carried Ka-bar. This universality created shared experience, shared trust, shared capability. The first combat use was Guadalcanal. Late 1942, early 1943, Marines were already there, fighting Japanese in jungle. Night combat was common. Japanese tactics emphasized night attacks, infiltration, close quarters, hand-to-hand combat. Marines needed weapons for this. Firearms were loud. Muzzle flash gave away position. In darkness, knife was superior, silent, no flash, personal. Marines with Ka-bars started winning night encounters. Word spread. Japanese started finding their dead with knife wounds, began to understand. Marines had weapon designed for killing up close. This knowledge created fear. The psychology of knife combat is different from gunfire. Bullet kills from distance, impersonal. You might not see who shot you. Knife is intimate, must be close, must touch, must struggle. Death is personal, prolonged. The victim sees their killer, feels the blade, knows they are dying. This creates terror beyond rational fear of death. The Ka-bar represented this terror. Japanese soldiers knew if Marine got close enough to use knife, death was likely, brutal, inevitable. This fear was tactical advantage. Made Japanese hesitant in close quarters, gave Marines psychological edge. One Marine account from Guadalcanal describes night patrol. 4 Marines, moving through jungle, darkness total. They heard Japanese, close, maybe 10 meters, could not shoot, would reveal position, would bring more Japanese. Had to be silent. The Marines spread out, drew Ka-bars, moved toward sound. Contact was sudden, close, violent. The Marine stabbed, felt resistance, felt blade enter, felt Japanese soldier collapse. Another Marine engaged different target, same result. 4 Japanese dead, silent, no shots fired. Marines withdrew, continued patrol. The Ka-bar had worked exactly as designed, killed efficiently, silently. Saved Marine lives by taking Japanese lives without alerting other enemy forces. This pattern repeated throughout Pacific. Marines adapted tactics, started carrying Ka-bar prominently, made sure Japanese could see it. Psychological warfare, the knife became symbol. If you surrendered to Marines, you faced captivity. If you fought Marines in close quarters, you faced Ka-bar. That choice created hesitation, fear. Some Japanese soldiers avoided close combat specifically because of knife reputation. This gave Marines advantage in jungle fighting, in caves, in bunkers. Anywhere fighting was close and dark and brutal. The design allowed multiple fighting techniques. Stabbing was primary. Overhand thrust, underhand thrust. The 7-inch blade penetrated deep enough to reach vital organs. Heart, lungs, liver, major arteries. Death was quick if placement was correct. Slashing was secondary. The edge could cut throat, sever arteries in arm or leg, disable enemy without immediate kill. Creating wounded enemy who needed help, removed multiple fighters from battle. More effective than killing sometimes. The crossguard prevented hand from sliding onto blade during thrust, protected fingers during parry. The pommel allowed reverse grip. Could punch with pommel, break bones, stun, create opening for blade work. The knife was weapon system. Not just cutting edge, every component could be used tactically. Marines trained extensively. Knife fighting became core skill. Not everyone was expert, but everyone was proficient. Minimum standard was ability to kill with K-bar if necessary. Most Marines exceeded minimum, became very good. Some became exceptional. Sergeant Anthony Casamento described using K-bar at Guadalcanal. His position was overrun. Night. Multiple Japanese in his foxhole. His rifle was empty. No time to reload. He drew K-bar, stabbed first Japanese, twisted blade, pulled it out. Second Japanese grappling. Casamento slashed, cut arm deeply. Third Japanese approaching. Casamento thrust, hit chest. Japanese fell. Casamento survived. 3 Japanese dead. 1 knife. Approximately 20 seconds. His account was verified. He received Medal of Honor, but he credited the K-bar, said the knife saved his life, let him fight multiple enemies in darkness when firearm would have been useless. That testimony from Medal of Honor recipient carries weight. The knife was not novelty, was legitimate combat weapon. The blade maintenance was important. Carbon steel rusted, salt water, blood, humidity. Everything caused corrosion. Marines cleaned obsessively, wiped blade after use, oiled it, sharpened regularly. The knife became personal. Marines named their knives sometimes, decorated sheaths, added notches for kills. This was discouraged officially, but happened anyway. The knife was extension of self, tool, weapon, symbol, companion. Marines who survived combat often kept their K-bars, took them home, displayed them, passed them to children. The knife represented survival, carried memories, good and terrible. Japanese soldiers captured with K-bars were common. They took knives from dead Marines, used them, recognized quality. Some Japanese accounts mention American knife, describe it as superior to Japanese blades. This was significant admission. Japanese sword tradition was ancient, revered, but practical combat knife from America was better for fighting. Blade held edge, handle did not break, design was optimized for killing. Japanese soldiers knew this, respected it, feared it. The Pacific Island fighting created perfect conditions for knife combat. Caves, bunkers, jungle, night, close quarters everywhere. Firearms were limited, too loud, too bright. Wrong tool often. K-bar was right tool. Marines cleared caves with knives. Silence was critical. Grenades alerted other positions. Gunfire, same. But knife, silent. One Marine enters cave, waits for eyes to adjust, sees Japanese soldier, approaches, stabs. Japanese dies quietly. Marine continues. Next position, next Japanese, next kill. Systematic, brutal, effective. This was not rare. This was standard tactic. K-bar enabled it. Iwo Jima was particularly brutal. Cave fighting was extensive. Marines used flamethrowers, grenades, demolitions, but also knives. Japanese defenders were determined, would not surrender, fought to death. Marines had to kill them individually, cave by cave, position by position. The K-bar was essential. After Iwo Jima, captured Japanese documents mentioned American knife, described it as fearsome weapon, recommended avoiding close combat with Marines because of knife proficiency. This was official Japanese military assessment. Enemy recognized K-bar as legitimate threat, tactical consideration. That recognition from opponent validates effectiveness. The knife also served non-combat purposes. Marines used K-bar for everything: opening rations, cutting rope, prying open crates, digging holes, chopping small wood, stripping wire, preparing food, daily tasks. The knife was multi-tool before multi-tools existed. Its versatility made it indispensable. Even if Marine never used it in combat, still used it daily. This constant use built familiarity, comfort, trust. When combat came, the knife was extension of hand, known, reliable, ready. The durability was exceptional. Cowbars survived years of field use. The carbon steel blade could be abused, could be sharpened repeatedly. Blade would get shorter over time from sharpening, but still functional. Handle washers compressed, but stayed intact. Crossguard might loosen, could be tightened. The knife aged but did not fail. Some K-bars from World War II are still functional today, 80 years old, still sharp, still usable. That longevity is testament to design quality, build quality, material choice. Everything was correct. Post-war, Ka-bar continued production. Korean War, same knife, same design. Vietnam, same knife, some updates, stainless steel option, different sheath materials, but core design unchanged because it worked. Changing working design is foolish. The knife was proven, combat tested. Why redesign? Marines in Korea used Ka-bar same way Pacific Marines did. Close combat, silent killing, utility tasks. Vietnam same pattern, jungle fighting, tunnel fighting, night ambushes. Ka-bar remained relevant, remained effective, remained trusted. Modern military still issues Ka-bar, or variations. The design has been copied extensively. Multiple manufacturers make Ka-bar pattern knives. Original Ka-bar company still produces, still sells to military and civilian market. Millions of Ka-bars in circulation. The knife has transcended military use, became civilian survival knife, camping knife, hunting knife, collector's item. But core identity remains Marine Corps fighting knife. That association is permanent, earned through decades of combat service, through Japanese soldiers who learned to fear it, through Marines who trusted their lives to it. The modern Ka-bar costs approximately $80 civilian market. Military contract pricing is different, but comparable. For 80-plus-year-old design, still competitive. Modern tactical knives cost hundreds, use exotic steels, complex designs. The Ka-bar beats them often, not through technology, through simplicity, through proven effectiveness, through design so fundamentally sound that improvement is minimal. This is lesson. Sometimes old way is best way, not because tradition. Because engineering was correct from start. The knife that scared Japanese more than bullets was not magic, was not supernatural, was 7 inches of steel, good steel, shaped correctly, balanced correctly, built correctly, in hands of Marines who trained with it, trusted it, used it effectively. The fear came not from knife itself, from what knife represented, Marine close enough to use it, Marine willing to use it, Marine who would not stop until you were dead. That combination was terrifying. The Ka-bar was tool. But tool wielded by determined warriors became weapon of psychological warfare as well as physical combat. 80 years later, Ka-bar endures, not obsolete, not replaced, still issued, still trusted, still killing when necessary. This longevity is remarkable. Technology advances, materials improve, but fundamental design of Ka-bar remains optimal, cannot meaningfully improve it, can make prettier versions, can use fancier steel. But core effectiveness, same as 1942, that is legacy, that is testament to original designers. They created something perfect for its purpose. Combat knife, survival tool, Marine Corps icon, the knife that scared Japanese soldiers. That saved American Marines. That continues serving today, unchanged, unbeaten, timeless. May the Ka-bar serve for another 80 years. May it remain symbol of Marine Corps excellence. May it continue being tool that works when everything else fails. May future Marines trust it as their predecessors did. May enemies fear it as Japanese did. May the simple 7-inch blade remind us that sometimes the old ways are best. Sometimes proven design beats modern innovation. Sometimes steel and leather and good engineering create something that refuses to become obsolete. That is Kabar. That is legacy. That is truth.